Okay, looking at yesterday's price action, um, not too great of a trading day, uh, mainly because of the blue precision guiding for most of the day, and the pink guiding for the other part of the day. All right, so you see, oops, lack of a true stronger precision pushing through and stronger precision pushing through these. All right, so not super ideal to overtrade. Not too bad of entries though. We were able to see this one live, right? This was a pretty good entry here. Seeing the head and shoulder forming. I did see some of your questions, Reckless. Something I will, well, Raja put it simple. Don't look at per candle for higher highs, higher lows, right? You're looking at like swings, right? So um, instead, I want you to spot a level, especially when buyers or sellers show up from the level, right? So you see sellers show up here. Okay, so this is a high then, right? You know they're attempting to defend this level, right? You see sellers coming in at this level, so they're attempting to defend this level, right? So that would be your high, your lower high, right? And this ends up selling, and then again you see buyers starting to defend this level. So this is where the buyers uh, low would be, and that's what I want you to do at all times, right? Buyers pushed out of here. This isn't a real attempt quite yet. You don't see its precision holding through, but they do push through this level back within, grabbing this resistance here, which would be moved slightly here to where the breakout came from, where the buyers are. So this would be the level of the resistance above our liquidity level where the resistance was coming in because of the buyer showing up here, right? That's the support, resistance turn support. So you'd be able to see then that this was the head and shoulder. So what I was trying to get at that, don't look at level per level by candle. You look at like the lower lows, higher lows, whatnot by swings, right? Raja put it perfect for you. So yeah, make sure if you haven't, make sure to give that a read. He took a lot of time in answering your questions, which is super nice of him to do. Uh, but yeah, right. Simply, that's how I want you to read price instead. And from that point on, then you see this being retested. It's a micro cup handle that forms with pink breakout here, forming you this higher low, this retracement to get involved in. You see the buyer showing up off of the level. You see the orange precision. It makes more sense now after pink has broken to get involved instead of within this area, right? Because this is smack dab middle of the range. This is what I was talking about prior. I'd rather not take a trade in the smack dab middle of everything. Why would I do that, right? I know there's a resistance here in the pink level, so it could still be a bear flag. I'd have to be more wary of that. Instead, I allowed the buyers to close the cup here, the micro cup, and pink now being involved for this handle to be a lot more trustable, and then the breakout of the bearish control retracement, right? Much better trade. Um, that's why the algos are important, right? So yeah, and basically then the rest of the day, obviously, I mean, if you're wanting to get in depth, you could read structure here. Here's your resistance, right? Here's your lows. Obviously, I wouldn't want you to take much size here, but once you see that the teal broke and the magenta was guiding, you could see buyers are showing up. You could take position like that on the higher low that does form above, but again, right, we're getting really, really in depth. Really, you'd have to be really precise. I'd rather you stay away from trading such tight action like that. But futures, again, right, you can read structure like that, so if you want to trade like that, you can. Um, a little bit better of an imbalance near the end, but still not much, right? Um, anyways, let's get this moving a little bit quicker. 5 day above the 20-day MA, right? But they're still in a converging area, so I don't want you to think that it's now just bullish, right? Don't think that it's just bullish. Allow for the 5 day to continue to rise, price to play it as support, and then push out of range, right? How is that more likely going to happen? Well, it'll be more likely when we retest this high here, which I'll show you on the 30-minute, and then allow them to become support. Because if sellers come in today, guess what's going to happen if they hold price even just in this area, right? 5 day will come right back under. So just keep that in mind. So looking at the 30-minute, then you'll see the um, pink breakout here, right? And then the buyers appearing on this breakout, but now only within the yellow. So that's your first sign of weakness and buying continuation. We're getting that retest now. Obviously, I want you to watch for structure, but this is a precision appearing. Usually it takes me about 2 to 3 candles because I can't really find any of the angles quite yet. So I will allow that to continue to head down if that is the plan for today. This would be the first area I want to watch for a breakout. Um, I want you to read the in-between liquidity levels here. There's quite a bit, right? One right here where this resistance broke out, turned support, right? And then again here, we have a key level there, so it'll make life very easy. Expected move is within this area, okay? So keep that in mind. This is where yesterday was ranging between, so this is where you have to watch out for, right? So if we're going to get a breakdown, it'll be from these levels flipping resistance, right? So this could occur, right? This would flip this level of resistance. You see how the algos would line up, right? Any long side, it's honestly just safest to allow this cup to close. If it's a grind up for the next 2 days, you've been warned. If it wants to grind for the next 2 days to close this cup, you've been warned. Don't overtrade that. Ideally, we get some sort of pullback or the green precision to appear, right? So, yeah, lots of things to watch for. Your first thought of today should be let's wait for the 30-minute to tell us what's going on with the yellow algo. Are we going to grind up? There obviously will be scalps within the 1-minute chart, so just keep that in mind. Um, Ideally, we are waiting for more confirmation. All right. Okay, so right off the rip, right, I want you to pay attention to not just SPY this morning. I want you to look at the cues. Again, if you're looking for any starter position, you have to be reading the current structure, right? Um, you see a low that's formed, price is trying to push through, but it pushed out of a precision, so it's better for the precision to reappear. If you're scalping position, understand that precision can move. But if the imbalance isn't large enough, you probably shouldn't trade it anyways. Right? So if you see what's going on, they're flipping this level as resistance. So if you're taking any trades, you got to understand what you're looking for here. You got to understand that it's a small move or small imbalance with price. It's only a few candles. It is a possible trade. I did take it myself. Why? Because there's a really good target below. As soon as I saw that this was holding resistance, I just get involved. Um, Obviously, the hopes is that the green precision will carry all the way down. It may not, so obviously protect ASAP, especially if you see the green break and a stronger buyer appearing pushing this out. There's also this weaker selling precision that I will place in just a moment. So you see it's lacking strength and precision, right? Obviously, when it's a smaller structure like this, if it doesn't carry right away in the green precision, I exit almost immediately. Ideally, then I want to see if we're going to build a larger structure, or if there's another scalp um, that I can get involved with, right? Ideally, I'm looking for the scalps to the downside. Why? Because of the fact that the MAs are below. I'd like to see their retest, as I do see that the buyers are weakening. We're pushing out of that yellow on the 30 minute, right? Lots of reason to be looking to get involved for downside, right? You currently see this. Our hopes is that they can continue to activate stronger selling precisions. Just read it level by level, right? You see that there was another attempt to the downside, so I take this position, right? I'm scalping to get to the MAs, right? This was the low from that range, right? 691.42. So we're going to watch and see if the precision will hold and push through or break, right? So this is where retraces can happen, but you watch precision to guide if you are in position, right? There we go. Now that's more ideal. Obviously, protect as soon as you possibly can. Add supports, right? Liquidity levels below are supports, right? So you know to protect because there will be buyers there. It's as simple as that. Now our hopes is that we can continue through this level, right? Through the next blue support and hopefully get a move all the way down to the MAs. You saw that I was scalping for downside, right? Normally, if I'm positioning like this, that should be telling you something about what my intentions are. The imbalance here is large to the downside, right? If I'm scalping very early like this, it's a sign that there's a larger imbalance. I don't want to obviously tell you to get into position. That's not my goal. My goal is for you to be able to see it, right? That's your cue, right? That's the best way to say it. Now, protect more if you are in position. Obviously, a move like that is more than enough now to be happy with, to be satisfied with. If you want to exit, obviously hold runners as long as you possibly can within the green precision. If we're in the strongest selling precision, you're okay to hold runners. But if it's contained within a weaker one, you have to protect by that weaker one. Does that make sense? So if we are selling and you were in position here and it's already in the green precision, you don't have to protect until we get to here, as long as it's in a stronger precision. That's what we want to see. Come on, push through blue. Okay, I'm gonna pull out some more position here. I see that blue containment. I don't think we quite got it just yet. That's okay. That's good then. I want to see if we're going to build a larger structure. I do have L runner. Um, it's going to be placed above the yellow level here. I'm not going to hold it any further past that. So you see that it's getting um, weaker in the selling, right? It's not strong anymore, not like it was. Okay, so now at this point, ideally you get a structure to form with this level becoming resistance. It's still in a precision, right? So it can continue to head down as long as it stays within the blue, right? But ideally you get this structure to appear, right? You see how that would play out? See how I have it showing 691.42 as resistance? Okay, so I want you to notice something once more. This isn't an aggressive selling within the green anymore. This is just in the blue. That's very important to recognize. If it's not going straight down within the green, right? It's not what you want to see in the morning. You're going to want to see a retracement then, right? You want that green seller to reactivate, right? The one that was selling here, that's what you want to see reactivated. So if that's the case, wait for a structure to appear. And instead of rushing trades here, you prepare. Right? You see how to manage with that idea, understanding that it's getting weaker, so a retracement is more likely. Again, read the structure. We're pushing out of this blue now. Teal started to show its control, but you also see magenta. So read read the range currently is right here to right here. A better way to look at it, right, so you don't confuse yourself, is wait for price to break out of there, forming a head, right, and then coming back to claim it within a right shoulder in precision, right? So don't read candle by candle, higher high, higher low, right? You read it by swing points. Price stayed within the blue, so it's still selling in precision. That is another uh, key takeaway you want to be watching for, but you need to understand the current range and the current situation. You see teal, so teal is your target. If you were to take any puts, it could be contained within magenta, so you have to be wary of that and not getting trapped at the support here. Within a weaker precision, it's not as ideal either, right? The weaker the precision, the less likelihood of your trade working, right? The less probability. So just always keep that in mind. So if it's selling in teal and you're taking puts, right, for example, you have a lower probability of your trade working, which means your entry needs to be better. So, right, if you're taking puts at blue precision, with blue precision, it's safer to take puts on a retracement at the resistance level, right? Not at the break of a support level, because it's a weaker precision. I want you to just zoom out and make sure you're looking at what's going on. Has this seller appeared? Probably not. Can he appear? Yes. So if you're going to take puts, take them at resistance, right? It's safer to get stopped out very, very quickly in areas like this, right? I'd prefer you wait to see if this forms up. This would be safer and a better likelihood of a stronger seller appearing. Right, so for example, if you were to take position here, why not just take it at 951's resistance? After you see the resistant wick coming back within the blue precision, you understand it's still being contained within a precision, I'd take position right here, right? Simple as that, right at the wick of 951. Then if it goes against me, I can place a stop above and I'm okay, right? I lose very little. And if price continues down, I have a favorable risk to reward to protect before teal. I didn't take position here, so if it goes down, that's okay. I can be prepared and waiting for the next structure. or watching for teal break. Whatever position you're looking at taking, be very careful. If you're looking at taking puts on this magenta break, remember what I was just talking about. Um, it's not a good enough imbalance unless you took the trade right at 951 or at 950 as well. I mean, both are completely fine. 951, you have a bit more confirmation seeing that resistant wick contained within. Um, Obviously, you could take it at the 950 once you see that wick coming in as well. It's also possible. We're in a downtrend. It's in the precision. It's still possible, right? Now you see blue break. This support holding. Read the range. What's gonna? Where are we at? Where's our resistances? Right. You see this was an attempt prior. It's such a tight area though. We're just going to watch for this and instead watch for this now to appear. Yeah. You see then how Zomies work, right? If you took the blue break here with magenta support, you know where to protect by. 691.42 was the prior level of resistance, so you need to be protected by right now, right? Especially on Zomies, if you get a green candle in your favor, right to a resistance level, protect ASAP, right? No reason for you not to. At least be guided now with this. I wanted to see if we're going to get a stronger buying precision here to appear. Should likely be this green. You need to now be considerably more careful in taking position. Why? We're selling in teal. You see I've placed a green. We're not quite yet buying in the green. I'm more so finding that for future reference when we do break out of resistances, right? We're technically only buying within this orange. All right, so price is now guided in the teal. Remember what I talked about. If you're taking position without a stronger precision, your fill has to be better. Now, I would recommend just not trading this area. I would recommend you wait, right? This is my recommendation. Anything I say about taking trades within here is just so you can understand how to scalp better if you were wanting to get into position, right? Because there's positions in almost every few candles, especially in the morning, right? You understand this was becoming resistance, you can take position, right? As long as it's contained within a precision. Now it's in a weaker selling precision, but you can still see the precision. You understand that position can come here. Why? Because you can make a good risk to reward ratio out of it to the next support. This is now reactivating a stronger selling precision in the green. That's ideal to see. If you're not in a trade, that's also completely okay. It's safer now to just wait for the breakout to occur in a retracement, right? You'd rather see this volatility break supports. Right, it's pushed through this magenta, it's pushing through this level. That's what you want to see, but you want to make sure that this is breaking out. Otherwise, if it stays contained within teal, can you see then how slow this could get to the downside? So be careful of that. Instead, if you see that green precision appearing, the retracement will likely happen down here. Let it be clear, right? If it's not clear, right? If this isn't a clear breakdown, why take anything? That's not a clear breakdown, is what I'm getting at. So it's not ideal to be doing anything here. Again, if you're trying to manage your risk, understand where you're positioning at, right? Is this the right spot to be positioning in a trade? It's possible. It's just not ideal, right? You're going to hear me say that a lot because, yeah, you can understand your risk to reward will be valid with a precision appearing. But your target is so close that if you just wait for more confirmation, you can take a higher um, reward trade with lower risk, right? You get a better risk to reward ratio if you just wait and more confirmation. Just think of trading in terms of that, right? Because let's say you take puts here. Great if it works, right? If your position works here, amazing, right? You get an even better fill. But what if it doesn't, right? Did you understand where your risk to reward metrics? Are you doing that so much that you become confused in your positions? I see a lot of people do that, right? Just wait, right? If it works, great. But if you wait for this, you'd be so much more happier. Uh, you may not make as many profits, sure. Comparatively, if your position works here, but you had a more confirmed position, it's safer and it still makes you a lot of money. So now it's guided within the blue, right? It's not guided in this green quite yet. I'll move that over if the sell orders continue to push out of this range. Yeah, so now I move this over. Now you see a seller is breaking out. That's what you see. This is what you want to see. So great, if you were taking position with precision, again, it's possible, right? Just not quite ideal. Now we have more confirmation that this green seller has reappeared. You just simply wait for retracement. It's great if you're in this, right? Amazing. So many different ways to get involved. You could have gotten involved here. You could have gotten involved here. You could have gotten involved here. So many different ways. You just need to make out a good risk to reward. Obviously, there's this target below, right? So it's always, um, if you understand where the target is, right? They're attempting to get here. They may they're getting very close to the upper print here. So if you understand that there's a target like this below, you can take trades like that with a little bit more confirmation when you see the selling precision. But you have to be very careful when teal control appears. That's just showing a sign of weakness from the bears. This early in the day, not very ideal. Now we have that confirmation that that seller's back, right? So don't feel like you've missed anything. You've missed nothing. We haven't even retested the MAs yet. Where do you think a big breakdown is going to happen? Or a big buy up, right? Right here. Something's going to happen there. We don't know quite yet, right? But something will happen there. You've got a large range to the upside now if the buyers do appear below, right? So watch for that. Green precision, teal could be becoming resistance. I want you to watch that as well. Read price, where's the low, where's the high forming? Do you have confirmation on either yet? Probably not quite yet. When you don't have confirmation, I'd rather you wait for candles to close. I'm telling you where that range is at. There will be some resistance here. That big seller candle happened on the break of support, right? So that's where some resistance will be. Instead, now you see teal becoming support again. You have to be careful, right? If the buyers now appear here, can you see the possibility? So just be a little bit more cautious. draw that a little bit better here. Okay, so at this point you see blue precision, but teal could be holding support. They've pushed through the support, so I will now start to move over the teal support, as this is no longer a dominant support, right? It can still play support here for now, but if the sellers now form a head and shoulder off of this, that teal support will no longer be valid because we've already pushed through and grabbed all the orders off of it, right? So that means there would be a more dominant one below. It's better to wait for that structure to appear here. Teal support, right, is already holding. That means it's contained. I'd rather you watch to see if there's a possible stop hunt off of this as well, right? If that's what happens from the buyers appearing, right, you'd either see the rejection of magenta here or you'd see this happen, right? So there could be possible positioning here. Just know where you got to protect by in any position you take. If you're up already, well done, right? You saw that seller precision early. We're able to take some good trades, right? So now at this point, right, we're just waiting. You see orange precision attempting to push out of blue precision after teal was holding support. You don't see a stronger buyer quite yet. They did appear for a moment here, right? But as you can tell, it's already not within it. You ideally want to see the green precision move very rapidly, right? So if they really wanted to grab this liquidity above, it would move very rapidly within the green precision. Like again, like 1 to 2 candles off of supports and resistances to get to the next support or resistance. When it's trapped within an area for more than that, you ideally are watching then to see if they are going to retest the support or retest the resistance within the range, right? Do you see how that could happen? Or this could happen. So you just have to be careful. If they bounce off of this, right, you could see this happen. So just be wary. Again, for you who are newer to reading price at this point, I want you to continue to read lower lows, higher lows, higher highs, lower highs, right? They formed a new low and are attempting to form a lower high. It's still within the blue precision, so if it's within the precision, contained within a precision like this, you can still take position, right? If it lacks, right, if it lacks that precision, you don't want to take it until it gets either that precision reappears or breaking through supports, a stronger precision breaking through supports, or a larger structure forms up, right? So again, read the range currently, what's happening. If you're taking any position, you got to know where you need to take entry at, where you need to protect by. So just be careful. This wasn't a very large structure here. I'm going to move this teal because the teal is still in effect. All right. As long as this doesn't push above this range, the teal will still play in effect. You need to push above. So if you're taking any position, you have to know what you're guiding with. Currently it was now breaking out of the blue. So if you were guiding with blue here, you should get stopped out. And look for the next structure. Okay, so I want you to start watching for this. If you're looking to long zomi anything, right, you need to understand what the range is, right? You see that this could be forming up, but this is the first resistance. Okay, well, got very lucky with that on that magenta break. If you read the higher low break, that's a stronger precision appearing. Yeah, that was a quick one. I was able to take it right on the magenta break once I noticed that higher low being taken out. Wow. Yeah, got very, very lucky that it's going down this far. Just protect before that green line, right? That's the 5 DMA support. Right, understanding that the 5 DMA and 20 DMA would be targeted makes this trade a little bit easier to understand. You saw that there was a possibility of this higher low forming. That breakdown of that, right? That's how bear flags form, right? On the breakdown of those with precision and magenta, right? That's magenta break green precision. Now, it activated really quickly, but there was an entry on the breakout, right? Once you saw that low pushing, um, being pushed out of. Again, it was really fast. I had my contracts ready. I was ideally watching to see if that structure would form above. Again, anything that you see with precision appearing on breakouts, the strongest precision appearing, that is ideal, right? Yeah. Well, got very lucky. It happened very quickly, right? But you need to be able to read what happened there, right? That higher low was forming within magenta. Once it broke, seeing that magenta break and that precision appearing, that was very important to see, right? I know it was really quick, so if you didn't catch that, that's okay. There will be a follow-up structure, right? There always is. I want you to look at the 30-minute very quickly. We've rejected this breakout. We're rejecting the range. There could be a really large move that comes from this. This is only the beginning if it wants to push down below the MAs. So save your ammo. Wait for the next position. If you're in, guide with green, right? This is a very nice move down. Right, again, it's skill to get involved. It's luck on how strong the move is, right? If you catch a breakout. And this was really, really lucky. But right, once again, uh, hopefully you can see um, how to have caught that. Understand it did happen very quickly. So if you didn't catch that, that's okay. But right, I want you to be able to read the structure so you can catch it the next time that happens. Right. So again, this is, I mean, wow, this is just really lucky that it continued this. Just keep the fact that you need to wait for the next retracement. You'll be completely fine. I promise you. Don't worry too much about it. What I want you to take away from this so far is trying to understand why I was aggressively trying to scalp early. Um, you saw that I was taking position. Normally I don't do that, right? But there's a reason I did it today, right? When you have an imbalance in the price like this, without any confirmation, um, right? The MAs are too close. They're not considered bullish quite yet. They're converging, right? Now you see the 5 days below. That it could happen literally in a few minutes or maybe an hour, right? Less than an hour. This happened. That's why I'm taking position like that because I know that price has a large imbalance and there's confusion still. So if selling happens, once I saw the seller precision appear early, I saw the seller precision appear early. I know that the sellers are here. There could be this that occurs later on today. That's why I was taking position so aggressively. You saw it slow down here, then speed back up. And then again, on the break of magenta, you saw that higher low get taken out, forming that bear flag with green precision. That for me was the best entry I could have hoped for to catch. Unless obviously it came up here. More ideal if it comes up here. But once you get that green precision to appear, understanding the structure that's forming, you can take it. It's not going to always be super pretty. It's not going to be very easy. It's not meant to be easy, right? You'd rather it not be easy. That is the truth. It's so much better. this way. So now, now we've got a really, really strong precision that guided us very far down. Any, it really is as simple as this. If we do not reclaim the 5-day MA or the 20-day MA as support, do not go long. Um, Ideally now, you're just going to wait for a head and shoulder structure wherever this wants to form, hopefully off the MAs, to sell off. If you still have one, great job. If you did catch this, well done, right? This is, I mean, this is a very nice move down. This is the moves you're watching for on a weekly basis, right? So again, review today's VOD if you missed it, right? I explained to you a lot of things, right? A lot of things today that you're not going to find in other places. There's a reason why I was doing the scalps like that, right? Um, you'll be able to learn more if you review the VOD. I'll have it posted, so just learn, right? It's something you can catch. This is possible to catch. This was a move that you can't foresee the strength of the move, right? But if you understand the imbalance in the price action and what happened over the last few days, where we're at with the trend, if you put all the pieces together, this move was foreseeable in a way, right? Let's keep an eye on the Qs below their MAs. We're only 20 points, less than 20 points away now. We're at 19 points away from the 20-day MA, or 200-day MA, excuse me, on the Qs. That is pretty insane. Okay, if you have any more position, this is now a really good area to close. You see this green support wick in large volume. That's a divergence, right? You do need to be selling and protecting more. Now you see that there could be some more aggressive buying. The candles are going to get very aggressive, so it's better to sell now once you understand what's happening. Um, Obviously, could it continue down? Of course, I have no clue if this is going up now. I know for now I'm going to completely exit my position. That is more than enough to be happy with. So if it goes down any further, oh well, that's okay. I want you to also look at the 30-minute. We've almost retested the yellow, so another reason to be protecting more. Um, yeah, this is aggressive selling, but you know where the big breakdown occurs, right? The blue algos. So keep that in mind. The daily chart, right? This again, it's not, you obviously can't predict it, but there was so much liquidity in between, and price was in a confused state. It was it was more foreseeable than you think. You'll get better. You'll be able to learn. Just stick with me, right? Ask questions. I'll be able to answer your questions. Just ask the right ones, right? Get the right answers. Simple as that. Don't want you guys to feel FOMO now. Please do not overtrade this. This is not something I want you to be taking reversals on. I'd rather you wait for the next structure, right? When you get a big move like this, it normally chops around for a little bit. Then eventually you get the next leg down, right? So please don't overtrade now. Wait for structure. You'll be just fine. I promise you there is something else that's going to happen today. It'll either it's either going to do one of three things. Truthfully, it's either going to go up, down, or sideways. But pay attention to what the volume's telling you. For one, you still have large volumes, so there's still possibility for a move. I'm not going to say that there won't be a move right now, but I will say it's always safer to wait for more liquidity to build after a large move down, right? So if you're looking to zone me, use volume. What I would tell you is wait for the MAs and this breakout, right? If the buyers are here, how are they going to push it up, right? Green precision. So just wait, just be patient. There's no reason to overtrade now. Um, Sorry if my emotion got out. I try my best. If it did and it made you feel some type of way, I'm very sorry. I try my best not to have emotion, but sometimes it's a little hard to contain it when, I mean, obviously you get an adrenaline rush when something like that happens. It's a little rough sometimes, but if my emotion made you feel some way, I'm sorry. I'm trying to help you get better, as well as, um, trying to trade. It's not easy to do all. Still contained within magenta here. Instead, this is better as liquidity, isn't it? Right? So much better if it stays as liquidity. If it wants to sell, break and retrace. You have the green precision here. Volume is still there. So again, trades are possible. If you're looking to take a setup, again, uh, green precision, break and retrace is more ideal in this area, right? So seeing a clear breakout and then a retrace. Okay, so we stayed within the range, right? We could be selling within the blue, but be very careful of taking anything here if it's not in green precision. Candles here can get really volatile, right, in both directions. So just keep that in mind. We will have a range with here to here, so you could just see large candles appearing within this range. It'll be safer, again, if we form a head back to grab these areas, right? Understand though, with precisions appearing within a structure, within a trade, you can take position, but you need to know what you're guiding with. Okay, so if you took position, guided with the blue, um, Geoman, I have Bookmap, but that is I'm using what basically what Husser said, right? What Reckless said. Price action and algorithms are going to tell you a lot. I don't use Bookmap in the way you think. I use it for liquidity levels, targets, right? So the liquidity levels you already see mapped out are, you know, something to pay attention to. You'll see that on the multi layout. I have a listed GEX levels. I got this from a friend. He was very nice enough to share this with me. So this has all the GEX levels already listed, which is really nice of him to have given me in the first place. So he has it updated daily. So you can just see all the GEX levels very clearly on that. Um, and yeah, so yeah, you can use these for targets. You can understand how the market's functioning. But if you want me to be real with you, the only thing you need to do is use the algos and the liquidity levels to understand targets, right? So liquidity levels being the MAs, the ones that you see I have listed. Simple as that. So there was a trade here, by the way. You saw that the blue precision was holding. Again, if that's the case, right? If you see that's what's happening, you can take position here, right? It's a microstructure head and shoulder to the downside. If the volume was there, that's what's going to happen. You can take position here. Now, it may not continue down all the way, not like it had the first leg, so keep that in mind. But currently, we're selling, right? So we have this green precision to guide with. You had a position that was possible. If you took that position as a retracement, that's okay. Just get protected. Don't expect the same exact move, right? It's completely fine. But yeah, Geo, all you need to do every day for trading is read structure like this, read the precision, read the volatility. That's going to do most of the work. That is 99% of how I take trades, right? The 1% is following up with anything with levels, right? Um, Truthfully, all that matters is if I see a structure and if I see volatility, right, I can take that trade no matter what the trade is, right? Right now, we're in a downtrend, but guess what? If this turns into an inverted head and shoulder and I see green precision on breakout, I can take that trade, right? I can see that trade, I can take that trade as long as I have structure and precision, right? So yeah, levels and whatnot are great. That's like the GEX levels and all that stuff. Those are great for telling you where to protect your trade and what to expect at some areas where liquidity it will be buyers and sellers, right? But actually taking a trade is almost 100% structure and algorithms, right? And precision. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so price made a new low and could be forming up a lower high off of magenta with blue precision. You need to adjust and be able to see if that resistance is coming in or if the buyers are holding this, trying to push back above, right? That's all you're doing here. If that doesn't happen, you don't see any rejection and the buyers are showing up holding the magenta as support, again, wait. Simple as that. Yeah, it's a good question though, Gio. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, I know a lot of people think that Bookmap is like insanely good for like taking a trade. I mean, people do that. I don't think it's viable for that though. I think it's more viable. I use Bookmap to read overall accumulation distribution, right? So if I'm reading it, I want to see, okay, are we getting more seller orders, buyer orders, and not, I don't look at it on a 1 minute time frame. You should not be looking at Bookmap very closely like that. You should be looking at it farther out and understanding, okay, we have a lot of sellers in the market. Buyers were showing up at these levels, right? So there's buyers that were showing up at around the 920 mark, right, and accumulating here. And so this could be an accumulation now. So I'm watching to see if that's what's happening. Or 1020, sorry, 1020. Um, I have Central Time, so so this could be an accumulation of orders within this time frame. Um, that's how I read it, right? I don't read it for like, oh, we're making a high and a big red bubble is coming in. No, I don't do that. It's so much better for reading accumulation versus distribution. Seeing where all the liquidity is at, seeing where passive orders are at, right? Knowing where the POC is at, right? Those things matter much, much more than anything else, right? Yeah, so there were buyers showing up within. And now you see a green precision is appearing here, right? So again, what's going to matter much more to me is seeing the buyers appearing here, wanting to push through resistances, right? We're still contained within a blue and still under the 5-day MA, which for one to me isn't ideal then to be going long unless I can get a really, really tight position on a green precision, right? So instead, it's safer for me to wait for retracement out of magenta here with green precision as support because that's the bearish control, right? If that's what happens, that's awesome for me, right? Now I'm going to remap this here, this magenta below. I'll map a smaller magenta here just because I want to review this later. So it's only going to be for review purpose why I leave this line. So because I want you to be able to see how to take structure like that. Oh wait, you have to buy the indicator, so you can't see it on the chart, Reckless. I didn't know that. Wow. I have it for free from him. I guess he's charging that now. That's Oh wow. Okay. I didn't know that he was doing that. So um that's no clue. That's now just coming to my attention. Interesting. Well, you don't have to pay for that if you don't want to. Um I can't really change that, so I'm sorry. I had no clue that was what was happening. But yeah, I mean, I'll say this, it's not of high importance. Like you don't need it to day trade, right? So if you're struggling on day trading, right, and actually getting good entry, just focus on price action and structure. I promise you that is 99% of what you need to be doing, right? I want you to worry about GEX levels and how to get liquidity levels like that much later on. Just I promise you, you don't need to do that for now. So you're seeing that I'm mapping out some pink algos here. I'm actually gonna map this out slightly differently. Okay. Yeah, no clue that was happening by the way, so if you did purchase it, I mean, that's just from the guy who made it, who gave it to me. He's a buddy that I've spoken to before, and he's a cool dude. Very nice for him to have given it to me for free. So I'm really happy that he did that and didn't charge me. But I had no clue that he was charging for that. Ah, okay, so that's why. Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool dude. Um, if you do want to support him though, yeah, I have no problem with that. Okay, so at this point, um, we've got a nice imbalance in the range, right? If you caught some trades today, well done. If you didn't, that's okay. Just go ahead and ask some questions on review today if you want to. Instead, if you want to, go ahead and post in the analysis tab on what you saw today. Um, Whatever you do now, just try to understand what's going on, right? Orange tried to, or sorry, the green buying precision tried to push through magenta. It's currently having problems doing so. So now it's just going to be safer to wait, right? You don't need to force anything here. Um, I just highly recommend taking some time, waiting for the next setup, instead of trying to take something that you don't fully understand quite yet. Right, we don't know if this is going to continue higher, continue lower. It's still within the blue precision, still under the 5-day MA. You still have these teals above, which I'm going to remap for now. Um, just be patient. You don't got to do much of anything here. It's just safer to wait for the next setup to occur with magenta or pink. So how are the buyers going to show up here, right? Likely pushing off of this pink above, right? So I'll map this out. I'm going to uh, move it like this. Okay. And I'll place one off of the prior seller orders here. Okay. So on any, what we really want to see is some structure form above. I mean, truthfully, this would be safest. Um, any position before this position here, be very, very careful. Um, if you don't see the buyers taking control of the MAs. The reason I'm saying this is because technically there isn't a true cup close until we get to here. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. Um, there will be a resistance. It's a liquidity level, so there's going to be resistance and support there. But you need to keep this in mind. It's safer to wait for the pink to break and retrace as support with the MAs as support, right? This will be safest. All right, so do you see how the algos guide and showing you that's uh, the setup with a prior price action, right? So it's important to recognize that. Right, just wait for the algos to do their thing. MAs are converging, right? This is again a very important area to be keeping an eye on. Whatever you do, just please don't feel any kind of FOMO and thinking this is going to dump 100 points today. It's so much safer now just to wait for the next setup. You already had the move down. Remember how I talked about how a distribution is more likely to occur before then? um, right? Liquidity building, I should say, or accumulation into distribution. Right, so if this is an accumulation, you'll get a distribution above, and then some kind of order to come down to grab this, right? So accumulation, distribution, all it matters is it's liquidity building, right? Okay. So at this point, I'm going to take a break. I want you guys to see that the price has slowed down. I want you to see that the volume is on a downhill slope now. You need to be able to see that, understand that this is likely headed into a liquidity building phase, and not to take anything unless you see a head and shoulder appearing off of the MAs. And how it will be grabbed is with the 5-day, or sorry, magenta to grab it, right? A lot safer to wait for this. Okay. Okay then, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here. Great questions. Great trades. I think today was a very good day. Even if you missed any trades, that's okay. If you missed all the trades today, review, please review. There was so many setups that you could have taken today. I tried to give some hints on what I was watching for. I mean, I straight up told you I was looking for the MA retest today. Was hoping obviously we'd get that sell off through them, and then an inverted head and shoulder either to appear off of the MAs or now a bear flag to appear off the MAs. The only thing I'm worried about is if we lack continuation from here to here. There will be a yellow algo that I place down. It'll be mapped out somewhat like this. Just be very, very cautious. It's not technically in play yet, but do you see how it could line up with a wedge? All right, so there could be a very, very, very large wedge that appears early on, um, which means there's profits to be found within them. But for now, magenta still is valid. We haven't truly tapered quite enough for yellow to be activated. So just keep that in mind as well and whatnot. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. I think today was successful. Stayed a little bit longer today. I will be looking in the future to do some improvements overall and being more interactive where I can ask, you guys can ask questions live and I can answer questions live. I will be trying to do some more of testing with stuff like that. Um, we'll see. We'll see how I get it done. If you guys have feedback, if you guys have some ideas, let me know in the feedback section. I'm always open to hearing what you guys think as well. It helps me out, help me help you, right? So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get on out of here, everybody. Take care.